What a transition from yesterday, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, a little bit on Orchid, and also just a little bit on Stellar Lumens, aka XLM. Mostly, we're going to be focusing on the news going on with Bitcoin. We'll be taking a look at the technical charts a little bit. Quick side note, I'm not a financial advisor. I highly encourage you guys to always go do more research behind this before you make any strong decisions. Hopefully, you do find this information very valuable, though, to you. And we got a lot of interesting things to talk about today. But I think it's going to be a pretty smooth, pretty quick type video. So feel free to strap yourselves, guys, in. That just sounded weird when I said that. And if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you can, hit that thumbs up like button. We are trying to get to at least 50 likes on this video, and it is really, really appreciated. It definitely helps us out in the search and discoverability. And make sure you click that bell notification so that you know when there's a new video and you can stay up to date on all of the latest news and information going on with this. Okay, so going in first up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's options market skews bearish as spot prices loses ground. Bitcoin's options market is flipped bearish for the short term as demand rises for ways to hedge against further sell-offs in the spot market. Prices have declined by $1,000 in the past 24 hours, taking out crucial technical levels and triggering fears of a deeper decline in the shorter run. That's evident from the increased demand for put options highlighted by a positive turn on the 1-week put call skew. All right. Essentially, short dated puts are now drawing higher demand or prices than calls. So a lot of people are expecting it to be going lower. Over 300 contracts of $17,000 put with a notional value of more than $5 million have been traded on Deribit since midnight UTC, said Sean Fernando, head of risk and product at Deribit, the biggest crypto options exchange by volume and open interest. According to Matthew Dibb, CEO of Stack Funds, put options at $15,000 and $16,000 strikes have also seen increased purchases over the past week. Investors appear to be hedging before the year is out, he said. So we're talking about $17,000, which some people are looking towards that range as a low, especially because of the CME futures gap that was previously set. A lot of people feel that that needs to be filled. And as previously reported yesterday, 95% as reported have been filled in the past. So the likelihood of it going down and filling the 17,000 gap is more likely than not. We do have a lot of other changes that have been going on, the amount of demand, the introduction with PayPal. So the CME futures gap in previous history has been pretty reliable, but it is still not a dead set guarantee, and there's margin of error. It's just previous trends show very strong indications that it's more likely to go down. Past the $17,000 level, I mean, we're talking $16,000, $15,000 level, people are trying to set in levels for that. They really want this to go down. But when a lot of people tend to push it towards one direction, and it's not, well, they're hoping that it's going to go in one direction. What tends to happen is a little bit of reversal goes the other direction. These people start getting liquidated, and that actually propels it to go the opposite direction. So we've seen it push back up to around the $18,400 range right now. And we'll take a look at the charts in just a little bit and show you guys how it really progressed over the course of yesterday and kind of see how things are starting to move towards the next direction here in the next couple of days. Bitcoin has seen several pullbacks of more than 20% during previous bull runs that did not break the upwards trend. At the current price, $18,200, Bitcoin is down just 9% from the recent high of $19,920. Down 9% from that high, okay? We got another 11%, as we've seen previously, that it could still pull down further. So maybe that $16,000 range really isn't that unrealistic. I want you guys to tell me what you think in the comments down below on that. I'm sorry, I feel like there's something in my throat. So excuse me. OKEX Bitcoin mining pool shows signs of life after precipitous hash rate drop. Cryptocurrency exchange OKEX is seeing slight signs of activity from its mining pool after losing 99.5% of its hash rate this autumn after the exchange suspended withdrawals from trading accounts. So for those of you guys that don't know, just quickly get you caught up with this, there was a representative that worked with OKEX that had the access to the wallets for the exchange, and he got arrested. He was under investigation, and that froze the entire exchange. A lot of people were really upset with that. They still allowed trading, but withdrawals were not actually permitted, only to do trading. Once that resumed, then we saw some of the implications. We saw some pull down on what's going on with Bitcoin here. And we also saw, as I just now stated, with the hash rate, that was largely affected as well. But we're starting to see some transitions back with that. In email to CoinDesk, CEO Jay Howe said his firm's strategy for gradual improvement and recovery ensures regular in-depth communication with miners to understand their current and future needs. Thanks to this, the pool is gradually recovering, according to Howe. Before October, OKEX pool was one of the world's 10 largest mining pools, mining an average of more than 250 blocks per month in 2020, according to data from BTC.com. In November, the pool only found 3 blocks. It has mined zero blocks so far in December. 0 so far, okay? But now that things are starting to get back up and running, keep in mind that if their hash rate, the miners are starting to come back into play, that should indicate to you that there's a much higher likelihood that the hash rate is going to change as per its roughly 2-week protocol of reviewing its systems. And if more miners are coming into this situation, the hash rate is going to become higher, which means that mining is going to become more difficult. And that actually adds more security to the mindset of Bitcoin and transactions occurring with it, right? So people are going to be trying to take their profits. People obviously want the price to go up. And there's this psychological element where you're trying to sell your profits, but you're also trying to not hold on to it for too long. And so miners playing a lot of games themselves too, right? And you got major institutions like Grayscale and MicroStrategy that are coming in and buying it from the miners. Fidelity Digital to hold Bitcoin as collateral for cash loans. Whoa, what's that? That's pretty cool. Fidelity Digital Assets will allow its institutional customers to pledge Bitcoin as collateral against cash loans in a partnership with blockchain startup BlockFi. BlockFi has been on a tear this year. They're doing a lot of different things. Holding Bitcoin to back loans is a foundational capability, Jessup said. As the market grows, we'd expect that this becomes a fairly important part of the ecosystem. We want to try to develop a world-class brokerage capability for assets of all types, he said. BlockFi will risk manage the famous volatility of Bitcoin by offering cash worth 60% of a loan backed by the digital asset, said Chief Executive Officer Zach Prince. However, the program has room for client-level customization and may be adjusted to meet the needs of large firms, he said. So the potential to expand out and go even bigger sounds like it's right around the corner, guys. Very, very interesting. Make room. Wall Street Bitcoin payment startup BitPay applies for national U.S. banking license. Here we go. Even more really interesting bullish news. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency payments company BitPay has filed paperwork with the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC, to create a national bank named the BitPay National Trust Bank. This is the first step of many on our journey to launch a chartered institution. BitPay National Trust Bank, if approved by the OCC, the only entity that charters national banks in the U.S., would be headquartered in Alpharetta, Georgia, according to the application. Hello, Georgia. After everything going on crazy this year, just imagine them getting more involved in the crypto market. And I'm talking about Georgia specifically with everything with the elections. Very crazy. Crazy, crazy. The OCC is at the forefront of government regulation of the cryptocurrency industry. Doniger added, I believe that's how you say that, we applaud the OCC's leadership in recognizing the need for innovation to facilitate regulation of cryptocurrency participants at a national level. A few months into his service in an acting capacity, a bank regulator and former cryptocurrency lawyer pushes ahead with a legally dubious plan to give tech companies banking charters. Graham Steele, director of the Corporations and Society Initiative at Stanford Graduate School of Business, said in September via Twitter. All the way back in September. What do you guys think about this? You guys think it's exciting times seeing them pushing over, trying to get their own financial institution system going on, or do you not like the idea of other people holding your money, even if it's crypto and it's not backed off of the dollar system directly? I mean, you take a look at crypto, and a lot of people say, well, it's not backed off of anything. Well, the dollar's backed off of the dollar now. You know, a lot of people seem to forget that during Nixon's time that the administration decided to take us off of the gold standard. So for any of you guys that are watching, you didn't know, now you know. Since I think it's 1970, yeah, the dollar has not been backed off of gold. It's been backed off of by itself. So if the dollar is weakening, it's not good because you don't have something else strong to rely on it, right? You take a look at Bitcoin, it's not just dollars that are going into it. You got all these other countries. So what is it backed by? I look at it that it's backed by the fiscal money of the people of the world. Bitcoin is a warning to government money printers, Morgan Stanley exec says. Following up with this, right? The bank's head of emerging markets and chief global strategist said that Bitcoin has the potential to replace the dollar, because a lot of other countries look at the United States and they essentially back their value off of the value of what the dollar is, right? In his article published in the Financial Times, guys, Sharma mentioned that this year's boom in cryptocurrencies should serve as a warning to the governments printing unlimited money worldwide. He added that millennials are likely to keep looking for better alternatives. Bitcoin has made significant progress in recent years to replace the US dollar as a medium of exchange. People used to keep Bitcoin only for investment purposes, but that perception is changing now as smaller businesses have started accepting Bitcoin for payments worldwide. The adoption has increased in countries where local currencies are unstable, Sharma said. So things like Latin America, that's a very key area that is starting to look to focus more on cryptocurrencies. Also places like South Africa. The recent boom of cryptocurrency should serve as a warning to government money printers around the world, particularly in the US. Authorities must not assume that the traditional currencies like US dollar or euro are the only stores of value or mediums of exchange that people will trust forever, Sharma mentioned. You got to keep in mind, too, that younger generations are looking more towards the cryptocurrency side and less towards things like gold. It's a new millennial perspective. It is what it is. Kids like technology. Ripple-backed Bitcoin and crypto exchange Bitso reveals $62 million in funding round to conquer Brazil. So as we were talking about Latin America. The Mexico-based exchange, which recently passed 1 million users, is looking to expand across Latin America with a focus on Brazil, where it launched earlier this year. The level of access to traditional financial services in these regions is low, and the prospect of using cryptocurrency and stablecoins for cross-border remittances attracted Kazakh and QED. As much as 70% of Latin America's population are thought to lack access to a bank account, research has shown. You guys understand that, right? That is really bad. 7 out of 10 people don't have access to a bank account. So how is it that they're holding on to their money? How is it that they deal business with other people? It becomes a lot more limited. Now, the way I look at it, the bank systems have tons of flaws in them. But the fact that 70% are not partaking in something like that, they need to have an alternative that provides a sufficient means for them to be able to store their value, to be able to do cross-border transaction formats, as been stated with this here. In a digital era where a lot of countries are now being able to have access to cheap phones that have access to the internet, to making internet itself very viable and affordable or even free, right? You don't even have to have super high speeds with these things. We're not talking about 5G crazy capabilities. If you can get any form of internet to be able to do a transaction, and you're doing a small little bit or bytes of data to do that transaction, okay, now we're talking. Now you could do business a lot more efficiently in my perspective, but that's my opinion with that. Crypto has more opportunity in regions like Latin America than the US, where the banking infrastructure is more sophisticated, said Nicholas Cizaski, co-founder and managing partner of Brazil-based Kazakh Ventures, speaking over the phone. We've been looking into the space for years, and we have strong conviction that Bitso is the way to go. One of the reasons we were able to take over Argentina so quickly is because we're one of the only exchanges there that's regulated, right? A lot of people are also concerned about the fact that cryptocurrency is so heavily unregulated, but regulations are stepping up. It's just trying to make sure that it doesn't run rampant. Some people don't like the idea of regulation. They want it to be totally unregulated, so that it's like, hey, my money, I could do absolutely whatever I want with it. But the governments are trying to make sure that illegal activity is not taking place and that the country continue to be stabilized, I'm sure, with a lot of different things in topic. I wouldn't be surprised if it has to do with the education, with the military system, paying your proper taxes, showing your support for the community space, and then you got all the other things going on, right? So it's a very in-depth, very complicated, it's not just a here's an easy way to explain it thing. It's a very lengthy thing, guys. There's so many stuff that goes into this. We're very strongly focused on regulation as a company. We think it's a great way to provide trust with our customers. So very interesting to see how this could move forward. Again, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. You don't have to agree with me on this stuff, guys. I'm trying to build a strong community, and I want you guys to be a part of it. Look at Bitcoin, Orchid, and XLM just real quickly. I'm going to actually go through this very quickly. So you guys can take a look. We had a big drop here back on December 8th candle. The previous day had even a further drop, dropping all the way down to the 17,580, like $17,600 range, right around in that period. Okay, so it was essentially within that gap zone. It didn't go all the way down to 17,000, but it moved its way into the 17K range, and then came all the way back up, and the daily close was actually on a positive, so it was quite a bit above the 21 EMA, as you guys can see there. And as of the new daily formation, has pulled down with a little bit of a retracement back up. The volume on the previous day was actually even higher in that green candle position than the red candle that happened the day before, right? So massive dump. Most people were selling it, and the next day a lot of people were selling, but more people were actually buying back. So the amount of activity as a whole was more on the positive side and less on the negative side. So the retracement climb all the way back up. I mean, you hit that bottom, you have to have enough push in the green to have any kind of contesting that's going down be null and continue to work your way up. So a lot of buying power towards the end of that point. Some people still feel that the 17K needs to happen. This could be a little bit of a fake out. The fact that we're above the 21 EMA again is very good, but we've been in the above state for the 21 EMA for quite a while now, guys. Ever since back here on October 8th, we've established every day above that 21 EMA. Even when this big drop took place, it did not close below the 21 EMA. Potential for further drop. Be very cautious with this. A lot of the signs are suggesting that people are still looking to try and recoup, trying to take their profits and concerned about the volatility and the drop further. But if you get a major institution like MicroStrategy, you get more bullish news. We had a lot of good news today from what it looks like for the most part. It could end up causing it to push up once again and breaking above this level at the $19,200 range. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I just got 2 subscribers on my other channel. Wasn't expecting to see alerts. What the heck? It's still going? Is that it? Okay, I don't know what's going on. I think the thing might be broken. So let me try and get that paused, because that's kind of weird that I was just starting to get them back to back. I think there's some sort of an update or something with Streamlabs. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so looking at this, guys, that's going to be a key level. If we can get past this level range right around $19,200, $19,180, it's going to look more positive on that run back up to $19,500, and then breaking above. We got to get it above 20,100. We have to, right? That is going to be the unanimous position for us reaching an all-time high, period, for Bitcoin over every exchange. All right, up next, look at it, Orchid. We have on the daily candles here, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of red, 5 days of bleeding. I mean, what is this, the 30 days of Orchid dying, or what's going on with this? I don't want it to go down, but guess what? We had to close out below the 21 EMA, showing bearish signs. I've said before, I'll say it again, fundamentals, guys. 3 days for Orchid, because 2 has not been proven in its track history since the dollar drop back here to be substantial enough for a claim in reference to the 21 EMA. I've been calling this extremely well. I see people on Twitter that are always bullish, always saying, hey, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are getting burned because of this. I want it to go up, but there's a time and a place for it, right? And it's technical. You want to make everything look, it ends up being wrong. It keeps being wrong. And how deep into the rabbit hole do you go until you realize that you're in a gopher hole? You know what I mean? I just made that up. Copyright, trademark, Atlas, Crypto Atlas 2020, right? Anyways, guys, so we need 3 days. Right now, it's still in the red, but the day just started. It's 4:48 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of the time of me recording this video. It needs to retrace back up. To pass above the 21 EMA, it's going to need to get above 0.2839. If it can close above that day, we're starting to look more on the continuation up. Keep in mind that today is a very important day because of how many of these tokens have been released, and it's a lot. You're now putting a lot more into circulating supply. I am leaning more towards the bearish sign right now than the bullish sign. Even though we have so many days of red that's taken place here, the specifics of all of these new tokens that are coming into play, I think people are going to be looking to try and sell them off. And if Bitcoin does have a further drop, as a lot of people are looking to forecast in the short term, we're talking short term here, right? If it starts to drop, Orchid just says, okay, and it just goes. That's just how it is. If it starts to rally and then Bitcoin drops a bit, like as if it's getting ready to really drop hard, Orchid just says, okay, and it massively drops. So you get these good rallies and then it just dumps. Good rally and then dumps. I mean, these are massive wicks. This is hard to find for a lot of other cryptocurrencies. You find it from time to time, but for this to be a top 100 coin and it does this over and over and over again so many times, it's heartbreaking to see. It really is. We're still in this consolidated phase, as I've shown previously, and you know, we've been in this track record again, this phase since November 23rd, essentially reestablishing all within inside of this box that had set up all the way back up on September 16th, right? So it needs to make itself some momentum. If it has a further drop continuation, really need to keep an eye on at the baseline here at 0.2559. You can see that we have some taps that are going on along there, some daily closes and opens right around in this position as well. Daily close and open right there, technically. I mean, it's the same right there. Anyways, and then a further continuation up, something that I would really like to see is us to break above the 30-cent range again, or more specifically, 0.3095. Let's just say 31 cents. 31 cents is going to not only push us past the 30-cent range, but also tap above a lot of these levels that seem to be blocking itself up, such as back here on November 23rd. You can also see another position around November 26th. On November 29th, you got a bottom point right there. Well, that was a new daily position that moved up right there, and near points on December 4th. You can see it's an ongoing pattern. That's it for Orchid. Let's go take a look now over at what's going on with XLM, and looking at the Fibonacci retracement. I went ahead and pulled this up for you guys right here. You can see it fills within between the 0.618 and the 0.382 pretty well, pretty substantiated. We had that red candle that also took place with Bitcoin, and then the green started to push itself back up, essentially bouncing off of that 0.618 and then tapping right off of the 0.382. Now it's trying to break itself up above. It has had a pullback on the daily candle right here. Overall, though, a nice recovery that's going on with XLM. You can see that the previous day of that candle was also quite substantial on the green. This has some room to be able to grow. If it has a pullback down, that 21 EMA is resting right near the 0.5. So these are actually two good key points of reference. I would largely keep an eye out to see if it is going to create a baseline right around that point, which is at 0.1582 cents. XLM breaking up higher. If it can break above the 0.236, you can see some that are just slightly above this position, Keeley right around the 0.2050 range. that would be an absolutely great point for a higher end range to go ahead and stop on. If it can at least close out on the daily in between the 0.382 and the 0.236, we'll have a second daily candle with a nice little bit of room between itself and that 21 EMA. So if there is some further retracement, the overall fundamentals, the analytics, the technicals suggest that it's still in a bullish pattern. So this had 1 day of close in the red underneath, 1 day of close back again in the green, still in the green as of the moment, and it is looking pretty decent. The RSI on it as well is not overbought, even with that massive rally that took place. So I think XLM is more than likely going to hold on strong. The fact that we're already seeing that wick starting to show is a little bit cause for concern. That was a huge candle gain from the previous day, but it's XLM, and I'm leaning more towards the positive side on this. The indicators, my own opinion on this as well, but always be prepared. New things can come out with this guy. And that's going to go ahead and be it for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, once again, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up like button. Every video we are trying to get to at least 50 likes. If you don't see 50 likes down below, it takes that amount of time, honestly, to be able to click it. It means so much to me. It helps out the channel. Been doing videos every day. Spend a lot of time doing the research and getting the notes prepared, ready to record this for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys taking your time to even watch this video. Leave a comment down below on any opinions that you have on anything that was said today. And if there's anything else that you think was relative in the news that maybe I missed out on that you want people to be aware of, feel free to share that too. Click the bell notification so you know when we have new videos, guys, on time, and I will see you in the next episode.